Thank you for staying with us. The impact of media on female sports can be both positive and negative. On the positive side, media coverage can help to promote women's sports and increase their visibility, which can lead to greater participation and interest in women's sports. This increased coverage can also provide role models for young girls and challenge gender stereotypes about women's athletic abilities. However, on the negative side, media coverage of women's sports is often significantly less than that of men's sports. This lack of coverage can also limit the opportunities for female athletes to gain recognition, sponsorship, and funding. It can also perpetuate stereotypes that women's sports are not as exciting or as important as men's sports. This can discourage young girls from participating in sports and limit their potential opportunities in the future. So tonight, we're asking, what is the impact of media on female sports? Please let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 08180384663. You could also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. Also, we're on Thread. I always forget that. We're on Thread or on Instagram. Make sure that you follow us. But yeah, before I bring the sports expert into this conversation, I want to ask the ladies. They're already looking at me. This is what we're saying. Why don't people consider women's sports as exciting as men's sports, right? You hear people talk about, oh, there's a match tomorrow, Chelsea's playing, Arsenal is playing, and it's the men they know. Nobody knows. Do you know any European female footballer? Do you know any European female footballer? Do you know any?
I'm
okay,
sorry to
let me
say,
not go
no,
too far. Do you know any Nigerian female footballer?
I know I should.
Of course, everybody knows Aziza Koshola.
And I know Nadozie, the goalkeeper. See, okay. I tried.
I'm not sure Glory knows any, do you? We need to do better.
It's not just about like female sports, like sports
generally. You don't have any interest in
it's
sports.
Not like I don't have interest. So, funny enough, when I was much younger in secondary school, I took part in volleyball competition. But for some reason, I don't know what changed along the line. Like maybe life happened. I don't know. So I've just been this non-sporting person. But the funny story about this is about 1 year ago, so I just decided like, well, I'll become a mother one day. I want to shed those baby weight and all of that. So why don't I start practicing, making my body familiarized with exercising? So I went to the gym to register in the gym. And the gym instructor was looking at me like, what are you looking for
here? Your mates are not here.
So like, just take long walks. And that's just how I was discouraged through the whole process then. But generally, I think female sports, really, I don't think, it's a good thing we have a guest here to further enlighten us. I don't think it's really getting as much attention as that of the male sports.
Very true. You're very correct, actually. And like you rightly said, thank God we have an expert in our midst today. Toyosi Afolayan is a passionate and dedicated sports journalist with a deep understanding of the sports industry in Nigeria and a strong background in print, online media, and broadcast. He has developed a versatile skill set that allows him to excel in various media platforms, and his experience as a sports director for the University of Ilorin Students Union showcases his leadership abilities and organizational skills. As part of the local organizing committee for the 2021 National Youth Games in Ilorin, he demonstrated his commitment to promoting sports and contributing to the development of the sporting community, and he's here live in the studio with us today. Thank you for joining us, Toyosi.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. How you doing?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, so let's get right into it, right? So I see that you've done quite a number of things with sports. You've been on committees that have had to plan like sports events and whatnot. So what exactly can you say has been like the involvement when it comes to women in sports?
Well, I think what we're having here in, let me just say Africa and Nigeria basically is the fact that we actually do not believe, most of us do not believe that women should go into sports. Imagine we having our parents telling us you have to go to school, become a lawyer, and the woman should not be doing some certain sports. We also have, should I say, religious beliefs about some, ways.
Yeah.
For example, the Moroccan player that actually wore a hijab some days back in the World Cup, and also Asisa Oshola wearing, taking off her shirt, She was saying her father would not be happy with that, but, we should just say religious beliefs. Our parents also saying, no, what are you doing there? It is what is killing women's sport in Nigeria. Well, of recent, we've seen women make name for themselves, and it is because of the media has changed, should I say, the propaganda or something towards women's sport in Africa.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me also ask, how do you think media coverage has media coverage for female sports now? How do you think, has it evolved over the years? What do you think has happened? What do you think is happening there in that space?
Yeah, it has improved, because if it has not improved, a lot of Nigerians, a lot of Africans will never go into the sport. You know, we've seen Europeans, we've seen South Americans go into that sport, and we're like, we can have this kind of people in Africa too.
Definitely.
That is why most of our parents are allowing their children go into this sport. If I don't see something on television, definitely I would not want to do it.
Yeah.
But we having Nigerians in that field, most of our Nigerians now play in Europe, some play in America, and they receive their good bucks. But it is the help of the TV guys, the social media guys that is helping women's sports. If not for them, I'm very sure nobody will be doing the sport this time around.
Okay. All right. Glory.
So I'm not really, like I earlier mentioned, into sports per se. But sometimes I catch the vibe, like when people are talking about male Champions League and everybody's like, I'm like, what's this all about? But I don't see that same energy when it comes to the female. So what do you think is the cause of that? Is it like the media is not promoting the sports enough when it comes to female sporters?
I don't think it's part of this what the media has to do, because I might sit down and watch a women's football, and I'll sit down and watch a men's football. I might not enjoy the women's football. Okay, women's football, one thing in football, we have categories. We have under 15, we have under 7, like we have youth tournament.
Yeah.
I will enjoy an under 17 match that they are not professionals yet, and I might not enjoy a full senior women's match. Why? Because I feel like this is how
under 17 women's match.
No,
okay,
under 17 boys.
Okay.
I might enjoy their match over the normal World Cup match, because when it comes to professionalism and how good they are technically with the ball, that is what we're looking at. But of recent, we've seen teams from Europe like Germany, Spain, some Spain. I said Spain, Germany, France, like that. England, they've been doing well, and they've been playing like guys. I think Rich James' sister, that's Lauren James, was quoted to be one of the best wingers in the world. Our brother, which is Rich James, plays for Chelsea, was saying if she was a guy, definitely she would have been better than any guy in the Premier League. So I think the fact that our football is evolving and people are getting better day by day, that is what is making people watch it. If it is not interesting, I'm very, very sure nobody's going to watch. Take, for example, the African Women's Championship, where Nigeria has won 11 out of 13. Out of, 14 now. Nigeria won 11. It shows that we don't have enough talent when it comes to, women's football in Africa. They are still developing. This current World Cup, we've seen that, yes, talents are coming out from Africa, that is from Morocco, South Africa, Zambia, and Nigeria itself. We are still championing. It is the talent that is making people not watch. Women's football in the Champions League has improved now. Barcelona, Arsenal, Chelsea, they are doing very, very well, and people are starting to watch. They are streaming the games.
Okay, NJ.
For me, I would say, I would like to know what role. You're a journalist.
Yeah.
You've been reporting for a couple of years. What have you on your own, or maybe the society which you find yourself, what has been done to try and use of media to improve, viewership, interest, and awareness of even female sports? Because I know that at the moment, currently, the only two major sports that makes it to the news for females right now is football and basketball. And even football. Sorry, 3.
Yeah.
Yes, so 3. So yes, and even currently, just to drop in there, the Tigresses.
The Tigers in the final.
Yes.
They're in the final. So, and this is one thing that surprises me, because you're looking at it and you're seeing all this attention is paid to the male sports, and they're not going that far. They have the best coaches, they get they're higher paid, and all that. But that is not also being reflected in the female sports, and even where they've proven that they can actually triumph with a little bit of help.
Yeah.
There's still that reluctance from the government and from even the people with the use of the media.
Okay, the thing is, you're actually throwing a ditch at, should I say, at the men. That is super.
No, it wasn't intended, but
it's normal. People were saying the Super Falcons have won 11 out of 14 titles, while the Super Eagles have only won 3. I think the highest a male has won in Africa is 7, and that's Egypt. But one thing we should know is football is business. Should I just say sport?
Yeah.
We have commercialized it, and then the amount the Super Eagles brings through branding is quite different from what the Super Falcons. What the Tigers would bring is different from what the Tigers would bring. In male athletes, I think it's only in athletics that we have seen something quite different. Athletics, the male and the female, they're quite equal. So Biamoson is fetching more money for the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, even more than the male. And then Blessing Okagbari also, she has done so well for Nigeria in athletics. I think athletics, we can say women have dominated athletics in Nigeria, so we should just forget about that one. But for me, you mentioned that how have I promoted female sports? You know, before I graduated from University of Ilorin, I was the sport director and I was a sport journalist on radio. I made sure that I have at least one female footballer, a male sprinter that I'm reporting. And, you know, it brings me joy that we even have a Unilorite, a female footballer. Now, she has gone into tech ball. She's one of the girls representing Nigeria at, I think, the African Championships. She took bronze at the African Championship from University of Ilorin. Yeah. So one thing I would say is, using the social media to promote our ladies will go a very long way. You can have a very short clip, 2-3 minutes, and you post online. You don't know what might happen. It might gain traction. So putting things online, we are in a social media age now. I might not have a good equipment like a camera or something, but at least, even if it's average, my content, channeling it into the right place will definitely help women's sports.
Yeah. Okay, so piggybacking on what you just said, because I know earlier you had mentioned how the women are not raking in as much money, right? I mean, won't we blame that on the fact that they are not being put out there a lot? Because to be honest, they would rather get a Dede Okocha, a Kano Wanko to do an advert than getting, well, thank God for what is happening now. We're getting people like Toby Amuson, Blessing, and the rest of them, assistants as well, right? But who are we to blame exactly for that?
We are to blame the sponsors themselves.
Right.
Imagine I go out and say, okay, I have a football championship. Okay, let's do it like this. The MPFL, that is for the male version. Yeah. I go to my sponsor like Value Jet. Okay, let me just say Plus TV Africa now. And then I bring the NWFL, that is the Nigerian Women's Football League. You look at the one that has that is marketable more.
Yeah.
The Super Eagles might not be doing well to some extent, but they have this, you know, this market value, the brand. If I'm associated with Victor Osimhen, Alex Iwobi, you know what will come to me. Okay. But if I am associated with somebody like, should I say, Gift Monday, Rasheedat Ajibade, Inadozie, they would give me something, but not. That is why even the footballers are asking for equal pay, but it can never happen.
Wow.
It's the basic truth, except we want to lie to ourselves.
Never.
I am bringing in 100,000 naira per month. You're bringing in 1 million per month. Who will definitely get that? It is definitely you.
But don't you think that they can work to get to that point?
Yeah, they are getting better because in recent times we've seen increase in viewership that is in the stadium attendance. Started from Europe. And then at the last AFCON that happened last year in Morocco, we had about 47,000 people in the stadium. On a normal day, you would never see that in Africa. You would say women's football is boring. But now, women's football is, evolving and we're having people, doing well for themselves.
Okay, very good. I mean, what my entire point here is, please never say never, because I feel like a day is coming. Who would have known that this is what would happen with women in sports now? Who would have known that we'll be talking so much about
it is never say never situation. But as it is right now, we are only projecting that it might get equal. But I'm not so sure because the money they would bring in is what would determine their own bonus.
Please, they can rake in as much money. We just need things. We need the media. We need government. We need people to actually support them. Look at this. I saw after that particular match where the Falcons qualified, right? I saw there was this video of
Fatima Samora.
No, not even that one. The president's wife, Her Excellency, was Remi Tinubu, yes, where she was jubilating. And then I think we even had that, so we spoke about it on the show, where we had a lot of comments where people were saying, just go and pay them, just go and pay. So imagine things like that. They're not even well paid, they're not well compensated for what it is they are doing. So how do you even expect?
Well, that payment issue is not only with the female team. It is administratively everywhere. Even in basketball, athletics, you'll be like, okay, where are this money going to? FIFA, FIBA, IAAF, that is international organizations. They disburse money to each federations, but where are this money going to? That I think it's more of corruption more
That's
than...
a conversation for another day.
And I actually heard to get better at that, they actually said that they were going to start paying the players directly.
No, but I would like to, that was what people heard, but it has been clarified. FIFA cannot play, they can't pay directly. But what they can only do is now monitor that amount. But what FIFA did was that before they do not pay players. It is the federation that decides that, okay, we're going to pay you this bonus or something. Yeah. But now for qualifying to the round of 16, each player gets about $60,000, and that's enough, That's enough money. The NFF might not don't have that capacity to pay.
And that's good, because that would even strengthen the hope that a lot of women have. Definitely. Because this is part of the issue why even the ones who have the talent, would not show up, because it's like a waste of investment. Because in order to even get to this point, you would have gone to, you'd have gone to camps, you would have gone to different academies and clubs and trainings, and you get different coaches, you have a trainer, you have a team, and in order to get that, that's a lot of financial commitment. So when you now get into the mainstream and you're not getting paid and you're not reaping the benefits of it, it's quite discouraging.
But that's whooping some 60,000 for each player now. I wish I was in their shoes.
Now you want to be in their shoes. Right. Then how much are the guys earning?
I'm sure they're earning way more than
that.
They're
earning way more than that.
Way more
But
than
why
that.
is it so?
The sponsors determine a lot.
Okay, you've said it.
The amount the sponsors put into the competition will determine how much.
How do we begin to shape in the minds of the sponsors to also...
The sponsors are just me and you, because Coca-Cola, Pepsi, those brands are the ones that will determine how much the competition will, the competition itself has its own value, and the amount FIFA, whoever is in charge, gets, then they will decide what is the profit they are making and how much can they spare for the players themselves. So it's just me and you who are the sponsors, basically. If you have a company, you want to sponsor a tournament, influence it with female,
Okay, so can I just say, current sponsors, please do, this show is for you.
Actually, even the media particularly, and that's why we're having this conversation, the media particularly needs to promote more female sports. Do you know what I just remember? I just remember the video of the athletes, the Somalian athletes from yesterday. That's not what we're talking about, but yeah, you understand, you get the drift. Okay, so yeah, we'll go on a short break, and then when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. See you later. If you're just tuned in, we're discussing the impact of media on female sports with Afolayan Toyosi Abraham. Please let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. You could also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. So we're talking about the economic involvement, right? And he was saying how we need to get more sponsors and all that. The sponsors need to believe more in the females to be able to, get them on board and, to promote all of that. And I was saying that the media also has a very huge role to play in that, right? So now let's come to social media, for example. I'm not sure that a lot of word is put out about female basketballers, volleyball players, the athletes, and all of that, right? So how do you think, what role do you think social media can play better?
Well, I think social media will go a very long way, because now we have over 10 million people on the internet these days, and whenever you post something, you might think people are not seeing it. Mm-hmm. You might not have it, like, you might not have a tweet, you might not have a post, but I can definitely assure you people are looking at it. Definitely. But they're just scrolling. Nigerians are very stingy with likes and everything. So I would just say something now. Sport in Nigeria is, should I say, we have stereotype. In the sense that if it is not football, people will not go near it. If it is not basketball, people will not go. We have like a ladder. Football rakes in more money, and then should I say viewership. Yeah. Football is, I think, the most popular sport in Africa. And when you watch football, you'll be happy as a Nigerian. You might bring basketball to me. I'm a journalist. I will enjoy it.
You said you'll be happy as a Nigerian.
That's just it. You'll be happy as a Nigerian. We're watching football. You're watching Chelsea. Okay, the Premier League starts in about 8 to 9 days now. Nigerians are happy that, yes, something to keep them busy on weekends. People are watching. Yeah,
particularly.
Men in particular, they are tired of people watching Big Brother Nigeria at home, and then they're not watching anything, So one thing the social media can do is, just get a picture, get videos of these athletes, be it football, be it basketball, whatever sport. This tech ball I was talking about, this girl would never play tech ball. while she was in university. But what happened to her was she knew how to play football, and so far you can play football. To some extent, you can also adapt to playing tech ball. And then she was promoted in Kwara State on Twitter by one journalist. I think he promotes volleyball, but tech ball was also initiated, brought into Kwara State, and then through the Twitter handle and everything, she got noticed by Nigeria Federation, and now she's one of the biggest stars in Africa. So I think we, even as grassroots journalists, what we just need to do is write about these people. You might not have a blog.
Great.
Write about them. Let people see it. Don't worry about your likes. Don't worry about your retweets. People are seeing it. Tag people that are needed. They might not respond, but I'm sure the likes of the NFF president, the athletes, the coaches, they are seeing it. And not everybody will be opportuned to play in an academy or whatsoever. They are playing on the streets. Just showcase that talent. Yeah. Somebody might be juggling a ball. Okay, let me just capture this moment. The person might know, and then it will blow up. So I think we, even as Nigerians, as journalists, we should, do more of promotion. Do it for free, and then the person might even recognize you that, oh, this was the person who made me, come into limelight and everything.
I like what you said, because that's another contribution I was actually going to make as well. There's this culture that we have, the highlight reel culture, where you're just seeing 1 minute snippet, 30 seconds. I feel like we need to tell more in-depth stories about the female athletes, the female footballers, or the female sports generally, and then participants, so that people can get to see. You know how we see documentaries about, I mean, as a child, I grew up watching documentaries about Kanu Nwankwo, JJ Okocha. I grew up seeing them in. Do you understand? So I've not seen, I don't know if there is any, but I haven't seen any in-depth storytelling about these people, about their journey, about their dedication. Now children are on summer holiday. I've been seeing a lot of summer camps for boys, and they specifically mention in those adverts, right? They say, okay, so boys ranging from 9 to 15, we're having a summer camp here, and I asked myself, I was like, so what happens to the girls who are interested in football? There was a child I knew at some point in Oluwalonimi. She loved playing football, but her parents didn't understand it. And they're like, please, can't see the girls are doing ballet. So even things from extracurricular activities, do you understand? And I wouldn't blame the parents. They just feel like there's no future in it. But if your son comes to tell you today that he wants to play football, you will go and look for how to enroll him in a camp very easily, right? So now, my question is this, and I think that media, I feel like I'm even answering the question already, right? But what do you think media can do in terms of telling in-depth stories about this female, so they can also inspire the younger people, the younger females who want to get into sports as well?
Marta, one of the most decorated footballers of all time, she won about 6 Ballon d'Or, that is World Best Award. Wow. She plays for Brazil. She's going to retire very soon, from international football. And Brazil got eliminated from the group stage of the FIFA World Cup some days ago. I think Jamaica did so. Yeah. And she was in an interview crying, saying she never knew that she would become a role model in her life, because while growing up, the media never covered women's football. She never had an idol. She just played the way she wanted. But now she's grateful to God, to the media, that a whole lot of guys can look up to her. You ask some people, who's your idol? Say, Marta. Formerly, she would say her idol was probably the likes of Pele, the likes of Maradona, but now people can look up to her and say, Marta is my idol. People in Nigeria will tell you, Asisa Oshoala is my idol. I think in FC Robo, one academy here in Motion, they produced Asisa Oshoala, they produced Rashidat Ajibade. And with the help of the internet, now we know where FC Robo is. Nigerians are taking their kids to FC Robo so that their own girls can become world beaters also. So I think it is the work of the media to at least make sure we know what is happening, no matter how obscure it is. Giannis, the basketball guy that plays in NBA, was in Nigeria last week. And then his brother also, about 2-3 weeks ago, they organized a camping basketball camp here on the island. But nobody knew about it until that day happened. And it was through the power of the media. Imagine nobody reported it, then we won't know Giannis was in Nigeria until maybe when he posted it on the social media. So I think the media themselves, that is journalists, we should do well in reporting. We should not be biased. Let us know a girl, a boy, the game is equal. Financially, it might not be equal, but at least do well to promote them.
Very true.
Okay. Do you think that one of the reasons why maybe female sports is not gaining much traction is because of maybe sexualization? Like you find, especially also people focusing on physical appearance. So I was doing a little research and I found an article from the University of Cambridge. They did a little research on the disparity in sporting and how people receive the sporting activity between men and female. So it reads that the University of Cambridge researched the use of language to refer to women and men in sport through multi-billion word databases of written and spoken English from a vast range of media sources. Men tend to be mentioned almost 3 times more than women. That's the first in relation to sports. Then it says, the same online article highlights that in comparison with men, women are disproportionately referred to regarding their appearance, clothes, and personal lives, and that women's aesthetics are largely emphasized over their athletic performance. The most common words associated or combined for women in sports, but not men, are aged, older, pregnant, and married or unmarried. Conversely, the words most chosen to describe men in sports are faster, strong, big, real, and great. So some of this description, maybe do you think are some of the things that will make a parent to tell their daughter, okay, do some other thing, not sports, it's a no-go area?
Well, I don't think that will be enough to actually discourage your parents. But I think, when we started, I said religious beliefs, especially in Nigeria, where you see a lady wearing, as a sports person, you can never wear full double A, something like what they call in Yoruba. You can never wear something that will cover all your body.
Of course.
Toby Amuson, when she's running, she's wearing something super short and something like a crop top. Sometimes they don't wear things that cover their whole body. And if you're bringing religious sentiment into this, you might not make it or something. It is only now that we're seeing people come into football and start wearing their full hijab and everything. There's this girl in Nigeria, she calls herself hijab footballer. She has played alongside Neymar now. Nobody expected it. Years back, she was selling cola around Oshodi.
Wow.
So, one thing I just noticed now is that women are coming into this thing, forgetting about their religious belief or something. And those ones that are bringing their beliefs and making sure that they can still play the football. And you're talking about if it is about being attractive or something. Some guys will say, this one doesn't have this, does not have that. You look like man. But
yeah, those types.
It is not, I don't think it is it for men. Because if you're saying that, then why are women not also looking at, are they not watching ball because of the man? I know some women that are saying, I like Ronaldo because of, he has his packs, because he's tall, he's fine. Yes, we know. But are you watching football because of him? No. You're only liking his Instagram post. That's it. A woman that will tell you, I like Pogba's hair, I like Mbappe, it's fine. You're only liking his body aesthetics. You don't like, you know nothing about football.
Yeah.
So you only check his reels, his TikTok, and finish. But I think it is because we regard sports as a thing for men. That is what is happening. You will ask you, okay, you as a lady now, you want to probably contest for the sports director of a school. They ask you, what do you know about sports? Are you a man? It is a lie. We have seasoned sport administrators that are women. So we should just change our thinking that sport is for men. That is just a problem. If you can change our reasoning that sport is for everybody, and I think sports, women's sports will do well. Let's just have it that sport is for both genders.
Okay. Andrew?
Well, I know that in the last couple of years, in short, there were some reports on women, the interest rate that has picked up for women's sports in a whole lot of, in 2022. And I know that, 41% because women in sports are now being broadcasted, 38% because women in sports, and that women's sports is now becoming more entertaining and competitive, because in different sports you have the likes of this, the US footballer, the England footballer, and a few other people. You have the likes of black women like Serena Williams in tennis. Yeah. You have even tennis players, youth tennis players. Coco Gauff. You have even our Durham. We have some of ours like Barakat and a few of them that have come up. Lola, Quadri, that have come up to do a whole lot of things. We also have in chess. I know that as much as I know that there is a young gentleman who is a chess master, I know that there are females. I've actually seen something on Instagram about covering a female who, I think she's about 7 years old or something, and she was going around trying to influence, the interest of other kids around her area in chess. And how to become chess, what they call it, the chess masters, something like that. So, and there's also, volleyball, wrestling, and a whole lot. So, but for me, my question would be, what can we do as individuals, as the media, as fans?
Yeah.
What can we do to increase the visibility of other sports? Because it's not just football and basketball or athletics that people are interested in. I became interested in tennis due to, well, first of all, I grew up watching people like Roger Federer. Before Roger Federer, you had Andre Agassi, and you had Pete Sampras, and then gave birth to the generation of Rafael Nadal and Djokovic, and Djokovic
after
he joined them. He joined Roger Federer after. But I grew up. By the time I decided I wanted to play tennis, I grew up looking at someone like Serena Williams because she was a black woman like me, and she was not even Venus. That's the thing. Not even Venus.
Venus is actually older.
Yeah, Venus is older, and Venus has been there way longer. But it wasn't Venus that was my role model when I started playing tennis. It was more of Serena, because I had at the time I was much bigger than I am now, and so I felt very comfortable watching someone like that play tennis. I was like, if she can do it, you can do it. That kind of thing, and that birthed the interest into tennis and everything. And even in that, I've watched a lot of people. Right now, I have friends who train. I have a friend who is a sports dad, and his kids are all lined up in tennis, football. In short, 3 of his kids were all into tennis until his son woke up one morning and said, "Dad, I don't want to do tennis no more. I want to do football." And then he got upset. So he said, "You go with your mom. I'm going with your sisters." Because they play, they're about 6, 7. They're very young, about 5, 6, 7. So, but they play very well. So they've gone to Greece and gone to a couple. So you now see a lot of parents of now trying to involve their children, getting interested in involving their children, and they're even taking it upon themselves as full-time, sports dad and moms, taking them traveling, taking them on tour for training and all that. So how do we, goes back to my question, how do we help as fans, as the media, as individuals? How do we help in the increase of awareness for these other sports who seem to, because if football has been there for so long and is still fighting for the attention, and the basketball is still lingering somewhere in the air only when we win. I feel like women's sports only comes out in the news when we win. And then, for heaven's sakes, we win all the time. Like most of the time, we go much further than the male. Sorry to say that again, but most of the time we go much further than the male, and it just surprises me how that will still bring more money. Which is fine. Like you said, it's someone else's fault. it's the sponsorships and all that. But these people are moving forward, which means that they're making landmark, achievements in their lifetime. And it's quite unfortunate that we're not taking all that in. And we only come back to them after maybe they're all washed up. They've maybe moved, they finished their whole football career and they're somewhere. Because I know that a few years ago, they did an interview for, I can't remember her name, female footballer, but she had been here for years. Female footballer. I can't remember her name, but she's, she was very famous during her time. And it was after she retired, after years, that she was recognized by the country as having achieved something for the women folk. And it's quite disheartening because, like I said, the women are showing that competition. They're showing that spirit of never give up. They're showing that spirit that they are supposed to be in the game and not supposed to be left behind. But what can we do to continue to ensure that that is pushed out there, even for anything? We believe that women should, we're the age where women are speaking up and everything. So what can we do?
Well, I want to assure you that the media are actually doing enough to push women's sport out there. But you're talking about, it's not just football.
Yeah.
When it comes to, ranking of sports in Africa, I still can say it anywhere. Football stands first. Then we can probably say basketball. Then we bring the likes of athletics. We start bringing, well, apart from athletics, I know athletics is very, very wide. It's very wide. We have sprinting, we have high jump, we have all those and everything. So what I would just say is, we Nigerians have to, widen our knowledge on what kind of sports we have in the country, the ones that we participate in. I can tell you we have people throwing judo, we have people doing, javelin and everything, but they would not come into limelight except if there is the Olympics or there is All African Games. And it's because they don't really have much competitions. Their competitions are not as glamorous as the football, as the basketball. If in the Tigers are not playing, they're not playing the Afro Basketball Championship they're playing right now, nobody cares to report about what they are doing in their clubs. Like, some of them play in the WNBA, that is the Women NBA. Yeah. How many journalists would report about the Nigerian girls playing in the WNBA? But if it is the guys, they would say Nigeria basketball youngster Jordan Nwora had 26 rebounds, had this in the NBA. The NBA is played in America, and then the time zone is quite different. People will stay up to watch, but who wants to watch the WNBA? And the thing is, most of these games are not live on TV for us. We only stream them. Who has the time to sacrifice? So it is the journalists, it is we that have that interest in it that should do more of, preaching the gospel of women's sports, not just football or athletics, but we should do more.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Toyosi. I was even going to mention, because our time is fast spent already. I also think that we need to have a lot more female sports journalists as well. But I like what Super Sports is doing. There, you have the likes of Arike now, you have Wofai Father, and Chisom. Those people are starting to report, or they're starting to do sports reporting. I think that would also encourage females to also participate, right? But yeah, it was a great conversation with you. I think we have a comment. Can we take a comment?
Yes. Good evening, my dear beautiful sisters. What are you saying? The impact of media on female sports. My dear beautiful sister Wan Jangega made mention of improving the social media when it comes to female sports, which is very important and should not be ignored. So many people lay emphasis and concentrate more on male sports, maybe because female sport doesn't bring more excitement. Me personally, I don't go by gender. If female sport is more exciting, I will promote and encourage it. My beautiful runaway sister, Gloria. Nice to have you back on the show. Thank you very much, Daniel. I really missed you. My name is Daniel Edio, your regular fan. Thank you very much, Daniel.
Daniel, thank you so much for always popping in. It was great to have you, and we look forward to having you more to talk about other aspects of sports. It's great to have a sport journalist in our midst, right? Yeah. Okay, so before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram at Way Show Africa. Please, I must also mention that we are now on Spotify. I don't know how I missed that earlier. You can now check out all of our shows on Spotify. I'm sure we will talk more about that on Monday. You can also interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow all our social media engagements. Also, do remember to like, share, comment, and invite your friends and family to watch us and follow us. If you missed today's quote, here it is again. Doing the right thing is not the problem. Knowing about the right thing is, and that's the challenge. Andrew Parsons, President of the International Paralympic Committee. See you on Monday at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen.